If you are not ready to work, hustle, kill, then please leave.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Savage Excellence Podcast, everyone, where we aim to make people fucking animals and seek to go the extra mile and execute all of the variables within our life to the highest fucking degree possible.
Yeah.
So we want to create this kind of culture where we can all learn, laugh, and be a part of a community where success, excellence, and going above and beyond is normalized. So other than that, dude, let's fucking get into it. How are you, buddy?
Been great, bro. Fucking crushed last week. It was probably one of my most productive weeks, bro.
Yeah.
How about you?
Let's hear about it.
So Monday, just nailing every part of my morning routine. Trying to remember like every little detail last week, but
You don't fucking take notes?
no, I don't. I should start doing that.
Bitch.
But I crushed every single goal on my calendar.
There it is.
I started a new thing where I started color coding all my goals.
Good shit.
So I have like a black black marker for, iron sharpens iron kind of activities. So like filming with the bros, getting a workout with the bros. Then I had like the red, which is like the non-negotiables, posting content, making sure that I'm getting, my the game day stuff out there for the TRT clinic. And then we had like a personal set of goals. So I started really working on a lot more of just the back end parts of my business. So getting a full like onboarding kind of page made,
Smart.
that answered all the questions and things like that. And then just a lot of just cool stuff for the business. I'm excited to just fucking start grinding. I got a new client last week, so that was awesome. But
That's
yeah.
Hell yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I won't talk too much about it because I don't really like talking about athletes too in depth that just start with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I need to see that execution from them first before I hype them up on a podcast.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But definitely like an ideal person I'd want to work with.
Yeah.
Just cool, like just seeing my business start to get more athletes that I actually want to work with, that I know I can specialize to get the best results.
Yeah.
And get that environment of working with. Because at the end of the day, I want to work with savages, bro.
Yeah.
And whenever you're in that kind of like newer state of coaching, you kind of just have to like work with whoever's willing to work with you. Mm-hmm. Work with you. But getting like really honed in. So I've been in this business program for a few months now where they're kind of helping you with the like back end business stuff, the content stuff, helping you get better at it and establish content for your ideal avatar, which for me would be bodybuilders that embody more of that savage mindset of, intensity, extremely high level of execution, seeking the highest form of excellence possible. And at the end of the day, people that are just coachable and don't make fucking excuses to everything, every little bit of adversity that comes their way.
Yeah.
I can't stand that shit.
Dude, excuses. I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but like that's something that's really been like over the last week, bro. Like that's been something I'm trying to like really focus on telling people about, because I am so sick of hearing people's excuses and why they can't fucking get after their goals, because of some outside thing or even inside thing that you can control is affecting why they can't get something done. You know what I mean? So I just want to kind of hear like your perspective on like why you think excuses hold people back.
Because dude, people are just pussies when it comes down to it nowadays, because everyone's just ran by their phone and their emotions and their circumstances. And they think just because everything in their life circumstances isn't perfect, then that gives them means to cop out and almost like justify their shortcomings to not have to put in the work to actually get the fucking result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, especially when I feel like I see this with people that, they're maybe a bit more overweight, but they just haven't been through
something hard.
maybe, yeah, I was gonna say adversity.
Physically hard, I
was
would
gonna say
say.
adversity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something challenging that actually requires them to get out of that comfort zone. They've been living in that comfort zone for too long. And sometimes, there's a lot of different things that could come into it. Maybe it was like parents, it could have been environment. But, at the end of the day, you need to have some fucking responsibility. Take responsibility of like where you're at.
Yeah.
And figure out how to get to where you want to be.
Right.
Like you can't just blame it.
Yeah.
All the time.
Having the victim mindset is what is holding people back, because those limiting beliefs that maybe are instilled in their childhood, or maybe it's later in their life where they're instilled, but it's like that kind of thinking, like specifically holds so many people back from achieving their goals. You know what I mean? And I think that's like something that we need to like address more and like talk to people more about, because like I just see it everywhere, bro. In my like people, in families, I see it in friends.
Well, no one's just been actually honest with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Too many people are just afraid to say the truth to people. And like,
because they're afraid of hurting their feelings.
Friends or family will see their own friends or family literally struggle, become obese, or just anything that isn't what their ideal potential is. And they'll like let it happen.
Yeah.
Just literally watch it and be like, oh, well, that's okay. You know what I mean? You're struggling. We all struggle. Like, you'll get it eventually. Like,
right. But are you going to get it eventually if no one's telling you what, like reflecting that on someone? Like, I mean, I think I see it so much with like, as young men that are going into the real world, the best way to like masculinize or like get someone to turn into like mature a lot faster, you put that motherfucker in a group of 4 guys who are highly successful, and environment's key. But then on top of that, those guys, if they really want him to improve, they're up here and he's down here, they're gonna force and start kind of like not bitching at him, but like just really trying to get him up to that level. And that might be through harsh realities and harsh truths.
Dude, I think one of the best things to help me get to where I am, like with the mentality I have, is doing sports.
Oh, like, yeah, that's something I want to talk about too, yeah.
At a young age, like, dude, I was literally creating competitive sports before I could even, like, do competitive sports.
Yeah.
Like, I was in elementary school, like, challenging motherfuckers to races on the fucking, like, recess, like, gravel. I'm like, I want to be the fastest one here.
They don't know me, son.
I'm going to carry the boats. But
every day after school.
Seriously, dude. And once I actually like got into a competitive environment, like I was never like D1 athlete or anything like that by any means. But
you had that D1 mindset.
Even then, like I think football specifically was the most catalytic sport for me, because it's just a rough sport.
Yeah.
Especially where I grew up in Nebraska. Dude, it's like there's no like politically correct shit. There's no
yeah.
As a freshman in high school,
yeah,
bro, they would literally have us walk, literally like pretty much almost walking like a light jog that is almost so slow like you're walking.
Yeah.
And then the other person to the side would literally full fucking sprint at a diagonal angle and tackle your ass.
Oh shit! Okay.
Tackle your ass.
Yeah, dude, I remember those drills, bro.
They did it just pretty much for mental and physical like toughness.
Yeah.
And I was a freshman, like 125, 130, fucking soaking wet, getting obliterated by seniors. Bro.
Yeah.
And when they would like hit me, like obliterate you over and over and over, and it wasn't even just that. Like they would literally make you feel like you were kind of like scum.
Yeah.
In a way, where like I had this one guy specifically that was just always out to get my ass.
Yeah.
Every time. And I look back at it now, I was like so fucking thankful for it.
Yeah.
Because it gave me that thick skin.
Yeah.
But bro, like he would hit me, he'd like fucking just like teabag me while I'm on the ground in front of coaches.
Shit, dude,
and they would just like laugh. You know what I mean? I was like tearing up. I was like, fuck, dude. But you know what?
What?
Most people, that's where they would like, oh, this is bullshit. I fucking quit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Fuck you. I started seeking his ass out.
Yeah.
For everything, even though I knew I was going to get obliterated. I chose to go against the hardest hitting seniors in every single drill.
Yeah.
even though I knew I was going to hurt like a bitch, I was going to get obliterated, but I wanted to earn that respect I was like, fuck you, come at me.
Yeah.
And that was something that gave me a mindset of building that mental toughness so that when I did get into like an actual game, I was like, oh, you're pathetic.
Yeah, exactly. I've been hit by a guy twice your size.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that camaraderie of football is such a crucial part. Like, I think every like man should go through.
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like you said, like you having people like literally going through those hard experiences like is what's gonna like mentally make you tougher. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said. Because I remember like in football too. Like for us, it was like there was hitting drills, but it was really just like straight up. I felt like straight up like it was if someone forgot something, like everyone ran.
Yeah.
And it was like that consistent, like just hard cardio. And so like, all the fat kids hated it and shit like that. But it was like, but then like you would see like 2 years later, like these fat kids aren't fat anymore. You know what I mean? Because they got this team holding accountable. And like, not only were you improving physically, like losing either weight or fucking getting stronger, but mentally, like, you were developing better habits. You remember being able to remember all your shit right away. Mm-hmm. If someone forgot their shit, like it was like a fucking, oh no, like whole team's pissed at you. So.
Yeah, your last name specifically was getting yelled out. Johnson, you fucking retard. Like, they did not give two fucking shits, bro.
No, straight up, dude.
And that's something I actually really miss about Nebraska is just, it was just like that dog kind of mentality out there where I love that shit. Where I feel like a lot of people haven't been through those kind of experiences because they've just kind of taken the more comfortable route. So they haven't had those experiences where they've had to just
I think there's a really I think there's a
get up, get down, get up, get fucking crush the ground, get up again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the consistent the
resiliency.
Battle. Yeah, I think there's a really big misconception. Like so many people like believe that if someone's making fun of you, or if someone like, especially as a man, like the whole weak man like of our generation, like think that if you're getting made fun of, or if you're getting fucking maybe not beat up, but like in football, right? And people are laughing at you, and people are like kind of yelling at you and whatnot. Like they think that's like bad and hard. Like they think it's bad, but it's like, and I think that's like toxic behavior because of this whole like idealistic thing that this set of ideologies that society's pressed on everyone, right? But like that's the shit that builds you up. You got to realize and take every experience that's hard. It's gonna make you better. You know what I mean? Especially in sports.
Yeah.
And
well, dude, it's something I'm trying to incorporate more into my coaching.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm getting so fucking good at this shit.
Yeah.
Like on the inside, I'm starting to really feel like find my style as a coach, and dude, it's so fucking sick because I'm starting to learn the psychology around athletes of like what actually gets them to perform.
What gets them going.
Yeah. And dude, like that new client I was telling you, I don't like the word client, the new athlete I signed on, I pinned him up against one of my highest executing athletes.
Yeah.
Like first fucking day. And Chris, my athlete who's been with me for a little over a month now, military vet, dude's just a dog. Dude executes to the highest fucking degree. Like I say something to do, it's done.
Yeah.
Like that day.
Boom.
And bro like sent me a picture of something he made, like basically like check mark boxes that are empty for like meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4, meal 5.
Oh shit.
And he crosses it off because he has a super busy day because he's got 4 kids, he's got a job, like he's got all this shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, I made this in case I get busy so I know I don't fall off track or anything. And like that's the fucking savage excellence mentality.
That's going above and beyond.
Going the extra mile is what I think really I see like in the athletes that perform the best and get the best results is they're willing to not just do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But the first thing like I do, this guy comes in and I was like, yeah, I'm really excited to see how you fare up in terms of your level of execution with Chris.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's put some money on it.
Oh, dude, yeah, getting that shit going.
I was like, between the two of you, whoever executes their protocols to like the highest degree and trains the fucking hardest in the footage that they send me, I will discount your next month in half.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
And I was
Yeah.
like, do you both accept? They're
Yeah.
like, we accept. I was
Yeah.
like, good answer.
Yeah, that's sick.
Now let's fucking see it.
Yeah, that's so dope.
But it's like, you got to make the shit fun for people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta give them an extra kind of little mini goals, little mini side quests.
In a way that's not fucking cringe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit. Where it's just truly finding the drive in people and pushing them beyond what they knew that they were capable of, but in a like achievable way.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it gets me so fired up. I love that shit.
What's been like another like sport that you maybe played growing up that's like that you think also played a really crucial like role in developing like discipline and mindset?
Well, I think I counted it out once. I've played like 12 sports.
Damn,
I've
dude.
played a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've done, let me see if I can recall them. So I've done football, basketball, track, competitive swimming, cross country, baseball, wrestling, powerlifting, bodybuilding, if you want to count that, martial arts, boxing, and
Oh, shit.
lacrosse.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I might be missing one or two, but I've done a lot. So they've all kind of contributed in their own unique way. But swimming was a pretty unique one, which is one like you wouldn't really think of like would make someone like a dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dude, swimming's hard as fuck.
Yeah, it
It's
is, dude.
super hard. Until you try to do like an actual swimming workout,
Yeah.
bro, you don't know cardio.
No.
Dude, that's so hard. Think about it's one of the best forms of cardio in my opinion because there's like no stress on the joints. But
Yep.
that aspect, you have to regulate your breathing while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like you're holding your breath in intervals, which makes it really hard. But in swimming, so my goal before like bodybuilding and all that stuff is I actually wanted to compete in the Olympics.
Oh, that's dope.
I really wanted
Michael
to train.
Phelps.
Yeah, I actually really wanted to go compete in Junior Olympics for swimming
Yeah.
back when I was a kid because my mom had taught me how to swim since I was like super young.
Yeah.
She was a phenomenal swimmer back
Really?
like high school, college, dude. She had, according to her coach, like Olympic level potential,
Damn, dude.
but her parents were like very traditional and made her stay at the farm, which is total bullshit.
Yeah.
But dude, she was like beating men in their own events, like grown ass men.
It's wild.
Insane.
Yeah.
Dude, she is, I can't praise her enough of like, if anyone's got the savage mentality, bro, like it's her. She's just
Yeah.
a beast.
Yeah.
But she used to lifeguard and she'd tell me on breaks, like every single break, she'd just swim laps like the entire time.
Damn, dude.
But when I was a kid, she taught me how to swim. And then when I did competitive swimming, she was my coach. So I was kind of like,
That's
just like
kinda
that cool
cool, yeah.
aspect. But I had this really big goal of wanting to break a record there. Because it had always been a goal of mine is to break a record.
Yeah.
So I trained pretty hard for that goal. Like that was like the number one thing I wanted to achieve. And I remember this one time I was at a buddy's house and we were like, one of my things as a kid was parkour. You ever get into that shit?
A little bit. Yeah.
I feel
yeah.
like every kid has like a parkour.
Yeah,
phase.
like a little parkour phase. Yeah.
And I was at my buddy's house. We're doing some parkour and shit. And it had rained the night before. But I had his porch, how it worked was like there was like a patio. And there was a roof over this patio with kind of like columns that were holding up the roof. But there was like an intersectional board in between the columns.
Yeah.
About waist high. But then that patio was about 6 feet high off the ground.
Yeah.
So the patio, I was coming in to do parkour. I climbed up the right side, sprinted across the left side, and I was going to do like a one-arm vault over it, do like a somersault on the ground, keep going. But since it had rained the night before, my hand slipped, and I went like 6 feet on my face.
Oh, damn, dude.
Bro, I was like inches away from snapping my neck. You know what I mean?
Jeez, dude. That's wild.
Yeah, I fell down, like I couldn't breathe. The entire left side of my face was just all cuts and blood. Nose like dirt shoved up in my nose. I cracked my tooth, my nose. Like I was pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Like a couple days later though, I was back in the pool, fucking swimming laps because I wanted to achieve that goddamn record.
Yeah.
And dude, I can't tell you, like putting on goggles and getting in chlorine, bro, my face just burned like the whole time. But I wanted that shit, and I got it.
Yeah.
I got that record, and I beat it. The next guy next to me by like hundredths of a second, which is super sick. Like those super close matches because they're like all out sprints.
Yeah.
Kind of like 100-meter sprints where it's
Yep.
like hundredths of a second. And just that kind of training, like where we'd get up super early. I forget what time like we get up, but like it'd be like 5 a.m. at least each morning to go to swim laps, and then come back home. And kind of during that time too, I'd also lift weights too, maybe run, whatever. But just doing that, dude, definitely helped with the mentality, I would say, as well.
The perseverance, because you had that face injury, you're still fucking achieving that goal, dude.
Yeah, I think I ended up breaking a couple other records with like butterfly and then a couple relays.
Dude, that's sick.
Dude, summer swimming was like one of the most fun sports I've ever done.
Dude, I should have gotten into swimming more because it's such a good form of cardio, bro.
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
It's seriously hardcore. Like, we would line up on the benches for our heats, and it was super cool because I was chill as fuck with like everyone in swim team. Like,
that's dope.
With the summer swim team, we'd all line up like we all just knew each other. We all just like talk shit to each other like, I'm about to fucking kick your ass, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was sick though, and then we'd all go talk afterwards. But when you were in there, like, you're just getting locked in. Something about just like putting on the hat and the goggles and just lining up, just getting ready, just like that tunnel vision of your lane. And when you hear that beep, it's just like all out warfare. Just, you know what I mean? And dude, just that, it's so much fun when you're like actually having a fun time in the sport with that like camaraderie with your competition and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, swim team was sick. That was a good one.
Yeah.
What about you? Like, what do you think helped develop yours?
I mean, skiing was like the big thing for me, right? Like, I did that stuff. Like, I did skiing since I was like 4 years old, and so like I was just like really just locked in on that one goal, and I think it really just developed like that consistency mindset where it's like, and that constant discipline where it's like, all right, like, you know, that's what really got me in the gym, right? Like, my dad's like, all right, if you want to be in varsity, like, you gotta be waking up at 6 a.m. and going to the weight room. I'm just like, in the moment I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to do that. But then like it made me realize that, you know, I don't want to sacrifice my laziness for my goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so constantly having that drive there of like, all right, I'm gonna make varsity. I'm gonna make varsity. I'm gonna make varsity, and doing like the constant like things to make myself better, even though and working like when people weren't watching, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's
doing that stuff when like even if the coach isn't watching you and and seeing you make progress, like do that stuff over and over, and like over a period of time, like that's gonna make you better. And that's kind of where it taught me like all aspects of life, of like that consistent discipline of like, you know, for bodybuilding, tracking all your meals, tracking all your calories, you know, making sure you're on top of your meals, making sure that you're doing your morning cardio, making sure that you're getting your steps in for the day, you know, making sure you're doing all this and beyond, because you want that goal. You know what I mean? You don't
have to because you want to.
Exactly. So that was kind of like the big thing it really taught me was with skiing. And I think too, skiing also, like, it had like this camaraderie in it too, because even though it was very individualistic, it was also a team, right? Like, we were all so close with each other.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of hotel, like, you know, over the night meets that were really cool, where it was like we were staying in a hotel in Duluth or something like that.
Yeah, dude.
And, you know, we just got into some shenanigans and whatnot. But it was like we all knew each other, so like you said with the swim team, it was like we were all talking shit for the next day, making bets.
Yeah.
Like, all right, who's gonna win this? Like,
dude, that's what it makes it so much fun. Like, football, or like even the team like that we're on, is not even just the sport itself, but it's like the brotherhood.
Yeah.
That makes it just go that extra level of like enjoyment that gives you more of that internal drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, because you guys just feed off each other on that energy.
Exactly. And that's kind of what like I related to with like bodybuilding, and like as a whole, with the whole camaraderie thing. Like, that's why I have you and Aiden and like all my other like gym bros to push me, and people and clients that hold me accountable, or athletes that hold me accountable. And so it's like, I think if anyone, like when it comes to like people that are struggling with their goals and really struggling with that, like you got to realize like you don't have to do this alone.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, that was kind of what I was getting at, was like, so many people believe that like this whole like, all right, you know, you're focused on your goals and you're going to become this better person. Like, you got to do this on your own. It's like, no, bro. Like, if you really want to make the truest and like huge strides of like improvement and performance, like having other people around you that have that like-minded goal is like, that's going to push you. Just those small comments, like, let's make a bet on it. Let's, if you don't get this, like, you're a fucking pussy, right? Like, and just like that constant camaraderie and like holding each other accountable. It's like, you're honest with each other. Like, bro, I didn't do this today. You know what I mean? So someone else can be like, all right, like, this is what helped me. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're constantly growing together. And so you're going to strive to progress that, would take you 10 times the amount of time on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of really what skiing kind of taught me,
Yeah. A lot of people think bodybuilding is a me sport, which in a way it is.
It is, yep.
But it doesn't have to
be.
always be like that.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that more and more, that, dude, your support system is just so fucking key. And you look at these like high Olympians, stuff like that, where they have like teams, multiple teams for everything.
Yeah.
And when you have that kind of support system, then it's like, now you're really talking about making massive progress. You know what I mean? Mentally and physically.
Yep.
I just feel so much more like complete as a bodybuilder when I know it's not just me having to show up every day. Like it is, but kind of like we said, like having that brotherhood just helps take it to that next level.
Yeah. You're showing up for each other in a goal to both achieve what you want to achieve. Yeah. And like all together, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have mutual goals.
Exactly.
But what else do you want to caveat from this? This is pretty good. I'm fucking digging this shit.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I feel like there's a lot of like, I don't know if you saw this, but when I got into my personal, journey of personal improvement or self-improvement was, I watched a lot of like, YouTube videos, and, Instagram feed was all like just my mindset and motivation. And it's like, I feel like people really get stuck on that whole, like, lock the other noise out. And to an extent it's true, right? But, when you're just really like focused on only doing it for yourself, like I think actually there, in certain cases, there are times where you should be like really just alone in a sense to kind of figure out who maybe you want to become. Because I feel like when you've got other people around you, like that might have different goals than you might have at a certain time, like, and you don't really know what you want, like, I feel like it's kind of hard at that point. But like once you figure out like what you want to become, like that's where you develop that brotherhood, right? And so like I think I took like probably 6 months where it was like, all right, I'm just gonna try a couple different things out, like and figure out like really what I want to do with my life. And what I really enjoy was, I kept realizing like, all right, he keeps coming back to the gym. I keep loving this gym stuff, and so that whole bodybuilding grind was like, all right, now I realize what I need to do. Let's make that brotherhood. Let's find other people like that. So I think that personal, like, alone time is important, but you got to realize at the end of the day too, like if you want to get to that next level, it can't just always stay like that.
Yeah, well, I think like one of the cornerstones of a stoic man is having solitude.
Yeah.
I think solitude's a good word in terms of rather than just being like alone.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because loneliness is like depressing. You know what I mean? Whenever you feel like you're just alone, you're lonely, whatever. But solitude implies some form of self-growth from that being alone, and I think like in silence. I think that's super, super important. That's something missing kind of nowadays in a lot of people in this world is they've never just been alone with their thoughts.
Yeah.
And honestly, dude, something that helped me really have a lot of self-growth is I practice a form of self-meditation where I put a mirror on a wall and I would meditate by turning off the lights. I'd like light a candle in front of me. I would just sit and look at myself in the mirror in silence.
Wow.
That's fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially like when I was doing that as like, I don't know, like 18, 19, something like that. And most people don't just look at themselves in the eye. Most people don't just sit with their thoughts. And I think a lot more people would, like, that's going to make a lot of people nowadays, like, uncomfortable as fuck if they did that. Because they actually have to look at the person who's not living up to the standards that they should be.
Yeah.
seeing the person that is coming short, looking at the person that is fucking up. You know what I mean? You don't just get to kind of like put it in the back room, ignore that voice.
It's not there because I'm not looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I think it's just important to establish like an actual relationship with yourself. Otherwise, you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't know who you are, then
how are you gonna find that
who you can be?
Exactly, and how are you gonna find that group of people because you don't know what you want? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important. I think like you said, solitude's a better way to put it, rather than just the alone thing. Because I mean, you see it like going back to what I was saying, like with the watching the YouTube videos and like seeing the Instagram reels and things like that, where it was like all I saw on my For You page was like those Dorian Yates edits where it's like, all right, I was alone, but it's like in reality, like he had that solitude, but then he had that combination of like that crazy training partner and those people around him that were constantly pushing him to get to his goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got to be like I hate to use the word balance, but it's got to be some sort of balance between the two of them.
Yeah. I honestly believe in balance to a certain degree. I think some people look at the word as balance with different definitions. You know what I mean? I think balance, you got to have balance within the particular goal. You know what I mean? So like as a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah.
If I want to be the best competitive bodybuilder, I can't just only think about training and nutrition.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
There's so many other
aspects. If I want to be the best bodybuilder, I need to think about developing myself as a human in person. So I have, like I said, that relationship with myself where I'm doing it out of more than just trying to be a bodybuilder. Like I'm trying to do it for myself, my family, for God, for my brothers, for everything. But developing yourself as a human too, in terms of like, you got to just do shit sometimes that you just like to do. You know what I mean? So many people just like deprive themselves of things that they like for the sake of always constantly trying to be that next level of excellence. But what's important is you have that time to spend with yourself so that you have that energy, if you want to call it that, coming in, that's like prioritizing yourself.
It's like a rejuvenation. What's the word?
Rejuvenation?
Yeah.
So like Sundays, I started just taking Sundays as my me days, where I just do whatever I want. I still establish some kind of like non-negotiable, so that like something's still taking a step forward. Yeah. Like get my steps done. Maybe I'll do a little bit of programming or whatever. Maybe I'll like budget finances. But after that, dude, I'll just fuck it. Just maybe watch some anime, play some Minecraft, read a book, go for a hike, I don't know, call some siblings, something like that.
Yeah.
Do those little things that you don't usually get to do.
Yeah.
So you're not just going through life just to merely check box, okay, I was a bodybuilder today, but nothing else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be that robot.
Yeah. Prep's a different scenario. Prep, that's the time where you need to lock the fuck in and be a robot.
Yeah.
But even then, I think it's still important, kind of like we talked about, still prioritizing relationships and stuff like that, not just letting them go to the waste. But it's obviously going to be more of a prioritized focus towards achieving that goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. A lot of people just need to focus on either dedicating more time to their goals or more time to themselves so that they can dedicate more time and energy to their goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it comes back down to like how truly bad you want it. If you keep saying that you want this thing, but you keep making these excuses up for yourself, it's like, all right, you've told me, 6, 7, 8, 9 times this week that you want to do this, but then making that same excuse, it's like, all right, do something to change it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
well, I can't. Like it's work. I can't move my work time around. Well, move your gym schedule around.
Dude, yeah. My favorite part too is they're like, I'm not trying to make excuses, and then they give you like 5 excuses. I'm just like,
that whole phrase.
That's literally making excuses.
That whole phrase. I hate.
I don't know if I have time for that. I don't know if I have the money for that. I don't know if I have X, Y, fucking Z. I'm like, you're literally making excuses. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think it goes deeper than that, right? Like it stems from that underconfidence as
Themselves.
in themselves or in a lot of men nowadays.
Yeah.
And so I think it comes down, like, it goes deeper than that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It goes to, all right, well, you got to build that confidence so you can actually understand, like, why you're making these excuses. You know what I mean? Instead of just being like, all right, I'm going to stop making excuses. Because you can't just, like, some people just can't, like, just stop making excuses.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really comes down to a confidence issue, I feel like.
I agree. A lot of times,
Yeah.
whenever I get on like calls with people that could potentially, like I potentially work with, like consultation calls for someone to come into the program to help them with whatever fitness goal they have.
Mm-hmm.
I literally had someone on the call just yesterday, and we kind of got to the end. We were talking about like what the investment was going to look like, and their answer was literally, "Oh yeah, that's not too bad of a price at all. I'm going to have to take some time to think about it and look at my budget though." Like, you just literally said you can afford it, and now you're going to say that you can't afford it.
Right.
Like, you're making excuses.
Exactly.
And it's just like a smokescreen that they give you because, like you said, they're just not confident in themselves that they can actually execute in the program to get them the results they want.
Right.
You know what I mean?
To make it worth it for themselves.
Worth it, yeah.
Yep. And that's where the coach kind of comes in as well, is helping you to develop better habits and, using certain tactics to really help build up that confidence.
Yeah.
What would you think are some ways that you kind of helps some of your athletes build up confidence in themselves?
There's a lot of different ways. I used to always think, like with training footage, I'm trying to focus on, I've noticed big results from this, like giving athletes more confidence in the gym with their training. So like if they send me training footage, if something like needs critiqued, I'm going to critique it. But if something's like really well done, but what old me would have been like, oh, well, there's that like one little minor detail like you can improve, I will just be like, dude, that was a fucking excellent set. Way to go. Way to push the intensity. Wouldn't have done it any different myself. And they're like, fuck yeah, I got its approval.
Yep.
Like, I killed it.
Yep.
And that gives them like that little boost of confidence of like, I can do this.
Right.
Whereas like if you're just always giving a critique, they're like, I can never fucking get this right. What's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So kind of establishing, like, all right, like at the beginning, like being a little more lenient on, like, maybe like not lenient is the right word, but like being able to, like, getting that approval right away, and so then like slowly being able to build that back up.
Yeah.
So you get the perfect.
Yeah.
training.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, if something like needs critiqued, I'm going to critique it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want to be the best possible thing. But if it's like, there was one rep where they didn't exhale on the way up, you know what I mean? Like something like
Right. Yeah. Like
I'm
that's.
just like, or like just something little like that where maybe they could have taken like a couple reps a little slower, but the rest were like awesome. I'll be like, that was a good set. Like, excellent job. And then I'll maybe say something like, let's just refine this going forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
And it
something,
kind of challenges them for the next
yeah,
week.
yeah. I always give them a different challenge. So like, next time I want to see you do 10 pounds more or like 2 reps more, something like that. But with confidence too is acknowledging when they are executing. I actually learned this from Nick. I've actually been learning a lot of good shit from Nick lately, just observing. But like something he did with me was he sent me a text like midway through the week saying, yo, I just took a look at your check-in data sheet and I'm really liking the way the numbers are looking. Like, keep it up or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like a little text like that just told me, okay, this guy gives a fuck about me other than just my check-in day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's dope.
I really like that. So I'll apply that. And if I see someone like logging their data throughout the week instead of like just their check-in day, I'll be like, yo, dude, I just went into your check-in sheet. Looks like you just had this awesome win on Thursday. That's fucking awesome, dude. Or looks like you had a great workout yesterday. Tell me about it, bro. How was the workout?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of wins did you have this? You know what I mean? Just like little things like that where when athletes are executing, that you reward that.
Yeah. Because that'll build the confidence in themselves and as you like them being your athlete too as well.
Yeah. Just I'm really trying to focus on building up that like team aspect too, so that they feel like they're a part of something with that brotherhood, like we were kind of saying. And challenging them openly. You know what I mean? I've been really trying to get everyone to send training footage into the group chat. And then in that group chat, giving them feedback of things they did great and what they could improve.
Right.
And then my like higher level of executioners that will sit in like a great set, I'll be like, everyone watch this fucking video. This is exactly how I want you to train.
Yeah.
So then like that person's like, feel like a leader.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is like, oh, that's what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I want to get the like public announcement from my coach that I did an excellent job. So I want to train like that. So I get that.
Yeah. So
Something like
some
that.
of those kind of small, like,
Those are like the little psychology things
Yeah.
that you're trying to like learn, you know?
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that actually proves, like, gives me some insight too, what I can start doing for some of my athletes. That's super cool, dude.
Trying to just build that like winning atmosphere. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast last time or not, but I just had another one of my athletes, Maddie, who's also just fucking crushing it. She's
Yeah.
not even like a bodybuilding athlete,
Yeah.
but she executes like one.
That's super dope.
And she just ran her half marathon on the 4th in Lincoln. And something I did to build confidence with her is I had her run a half marathon a week before she ran a half marathon. So
That's cool.
She had the confidence knowing she could do it in that time of maybe like more pressure, more people. And then in the group chat, when she posted up her like miles and time of like, guys, I fucking did it the week before her race, I was like, Maddie, that's so fucking awesome. Like you crushed it. Like, let's
Yeah.
go. But I'm going to issue one more challenge. And she's like, okay. When it comes race day, you need to run 14 miles
Oh, that's sick.
because Savages of Excellence always go the extra mile.
That's so cool.
And then that's going to make her feel like a fucking animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's doing above and beyond. Yeah.
And keep them accountable to that. So when the day came and her race was done, I was like, hey, did you get that extra mile in? Did you get your 14.1 specifically? Because a half mile is 13.1, so an extra mile would be 14.1.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, motherfucker, time to wake up.
Yeah, right?
Then she was like, text me. They wouldn't let me like turn around because it was like super packed and stuff like that. And there's something else, which was like a totally valid thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, sounds like you're hopping on the treadmill to get an extra mile in.
Yeah.
And she did.
That's dope as fuck. Yeah.
And I made her send me like a receipt of it too
That's awesome.
and had her post in the group chat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is being a fucking Savage of Excellence right here.
Because you're going above and beyond.
And everyone has now an example of what it looks like. So
That's super cool.
creating like, dude, that shit like that just gets me like so fucking fired up to be a coach.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's just like, the coolest thing about coaching is like how fulfilling it is. Like your athletes' wins just refill me back up. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm getting like filled up like, fuck yeah, you just crushed this goal. Fuck yeah, you just crushed this goal. You know what I mean? And like when you see more and more people like buying into that mentality and it's like you're starting to actually see a culture.
Yeah.
That's like,
It's not just you yourself as a
coolest,
coach.
it's
Yeah.
the coolest feeling in the world, dude.
Yeah. That's so exciting. I'm excited for that too. Damn, bro.
And it just gives me a vision of like what I want this to be in the future. Where I envision myself in a spot where like my ultimate dream goal within coaching is to get so good at developing that going above and beyond an intensity in athletes where people hire me to coach their athletes like at a high level just to develop the intensity and like high level of excellence and execution degree in their athletes just for that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so sick.
Oh, for sure.
The coach that's hired to just develop intensity in motherfuckers.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
So dope.
Imagine, dude, that'd be so dope. I'm like, I've a guy on a consultation call who's like kind of wanting maybe more intensity or something like that. I'm just like, all right, I'm sending it straight to Tristan. Like
Seriously.
Because it'd be so cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're that friend I have that's like that like that fucking crazy intense like motherfucker. Anyone who needs like a fucking boot camp challenge, like go to bring him to you.
But it's like, be like, dude, I got this guy that's got a lot of potential. He is just kind of lacking a little bit in that like intensity department. All right, send him to me. We'll work together for 4 months, XYZ. And then in that time I send him back and they're just like a fucking savage. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
You know,
could you imagine Savage Excellence Boot Camp?
Yeah,
dude, that'd be some dope shit.
Like internment camp.
Internment camp.
But like,
War.
dude, that'd be so sick. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's an idea there, right by itself.
Yeah, just become like extremely niche, just in
Yeah.
that one field.
That'd be so cool.
Because I don't know of any other coach that does that.
No, I don't think so. I know like Tom Platz embodied that crazy intense training, but I don't know if he like ever had like I don't pay attention to all like that kind of stuff, but I wonder if he ever had like a coaching brand like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be something cool to look into.
Be something similar
Yeah.
where kind of like that Tom Platz mentality,
Yep.
but it's the intensity with kind of like that more
Refined
refined, high level execution.
Yeah, execution, yeah. Yeah. That's dope.
Where do you kind of see yourself, like in your ideal vision of coaching or bodybuilding, like say 10 years from now?
10 years from now? Well, dude, like I want to be, I think like for myself personally, it's not that I'm just going to set like what I'm kind of thinking to see myself as is like, obviously I want to be a pro bodybuilder, like, but I don't think like I'm just being on like realistic here. Like my genetics from where I'm at right now, like I think that I'm gonna be able to take coaching probably further than I'm be able to take bodybuilding by itself.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Yeah.
For myself, yeah. And so like that's where it's like I want to be able to get as far as I possibly can as like a pro. I'd be so sick to touch the Olympia stage.
Yeah.
Which maybe it's possible, maybe it's not. But in 10 years from now, like I want to be able to be coaching. Like I want to be able to have some pros on my team.
Oh, for sure.
Like if not pros, like Olympia level.
Oh yeah, dude.
So like that would be dope, and that's like, that's where it's like, I feel like for me, I see all these like mindset coaches nowadays, and like gurus, and it's like that's like it's cool to think about that. Where it's like, all right, well, you know, obviously these gurus are making a lot of money, and you know, you see all the fucking the shine, the glam, and the fucking shit like that. But it's like, dude, like. I don't want to be that coach that's coaching for 2 years and just retires from coaching because I've made my millions. Like, that's not what I see my vision as. I want to see, like, I just love bodybuilding, bro.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And so it's like, I want to be able to be that coach where it's like developing that mindset to become that highest executing pro athlete in all levels. And then, like, the athletes that maybe... I don't see myself doing all bodybuilding coaching because I see some people coming to me for, you know, maybe more mindset coaching, more just like lifestyle coaching. But I want to develop like a group of men that are just so highly capable, have their own businesses, you know, are just crushing it in their businesses, but also on their personal other goals. So if they're just trying to have better fitness, like they're going above and beyond that. If they're trying to be a pro bodybuilder and a pro coach, like, you know, having that, like, just being able to have motherfuckers, and I wouldn't even say this, like I think that eventually I see myself coaching women too as well.
Oh yeah.
Because I think, like,
I love coaching women.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's something I want to get into as well. I just think at this point right now it's like kind of easier to start from my perspective, what I have knowledge in right now. But eventually, when I want to start coaching women as well, like. Just be able to develop people that are like just these highest levels of themselves. So like, you know, eventually the goal would be, you know, just having that group of people where it's like everyone's accountable and you're making a difference in the world and slowly changing society. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say like I'm going to be able to have 1,000 athletes someday, but it'd be cool to have like 100 high level, like just absolute killers. Where it's like those people can inspire another 100 people.
Exactly.
And those 100 people can inspire another 100 people. And it's like you're changing society and helping the world become a better place because that's the end goal eventually, I think, as I get further into my life. That's kind of what I want to embody because I see society as where it's at right now. And I don't want to be this person that has a pessimistic view on it. I want to be a person that changes it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to like, same way, dude, within my program, the ones that are executing more, I really try to push them to become leaders within the program.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you're someone that is leading by example.
Yeah.
So you're someone I'm going to expect more from
Yep.
and hold to a higher standard, especially as a competitive athlete. And like, it's those people that you really want to fucking feed into. When it comes to coaching, I try to give everyone my best, but the ones that give me their true best, I go above and fucking beyond for.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones, some athletes are going to literally help build your business for you.
Yeah.
So like people, like Chris, that are executing at a high level, he was one of the first one to start like consistently actually posting training footage in the group chat or responding to everything I post, and people started seeing like him do it.
Yep.
So then like someone else would do it, and then like obviously as a coach you need to be active in there, but once you just have like that one person that's like 100% bought in, dude, they can be like such a core foundational building block of your business, because then everyone else is going to see like, oh damn,
See that person working and it's like, oh shit, I gotta
not
fucking be
just
better.
my coach, but this athlete in here too that's out working my ass.
Yeah.
And they're leading by example too in the program. So having like those leaders is super crucial.
Dude, hold on. All right, we're good. I think I turned all the other messages off. I'm gonna make sure this is unpersonal from now on. All right, that's the way.
But yeah, dude, coaching is just such a cool thing, and it's awesome just watching it evolve over time.
Yeah, I was kind of curious what your. I know we were talking about this earlier, but kind of pivoting back to these young gurus.
Oh yeah,
And
oh boy.
young coaches. What do you think is like the youngest age you should be able to charge, like as a coach and be an actual professional coach?
I actually don't think age is really a factor to it,
Okay.
because if a 14-year-old's an expert and can get results, then like hire him.
Really? Okay.
If he knows his shit, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Do you think realistically though that could be?
there's not many people like that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So, although I will stand by the statement, like I don't really think age is the determining factor. I think
Maybe more maturity.
just being able to actually get people results and treating people like actual humans,
Yeah.
and being like having that high level of integrity like within the business that you don't really see with these more young gurus. Like you can tell they're in it for money,
Yeah.
which is the one thing like I try to have people steer clear from. So if it's like someone that's super young wanting to coach people, I think it's totally cool as long as they're transparent and what they know right now and what
Yep.
they don't know. And
Right. Not overstepping that knowledge of I don't know this, so I'm just gonna give you a bunch of bullshit.
yeah, like they don't know anything, but they're going to try to run you a PED cycle. Like
Right.
that's cringe.
Yeah.
But like when I was first getting, like I started coaching people like just for free when I was like 14, maybe
Just kind of helping out people.
maybe even younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, seeing I got results, I just thought it was fun. Like I literally just did for the fucking fun of it, because I wanted
That's
to see
dope.
if I could do it for someone else.
Yeah.
But as I kind of like got a little bit more into it, and like okay, I want to like actually start making this more of like a career thing, I would do it for free. But then my old mentor, Jordan Plantico, he kind of gave me this awesome idea of having people pay you maybe like 3 months up front or something like that. And then you just donate that money to a charity of their choice.
Yeah. Exactly what I'm doing.
And then you pretty much just have them, that way you have, have them have like a financial investment so that they're more bought into your program. So you're not just gonna be wasting your time as
Yep.
if you did it for free, but they know that their money's going to something productive of their choice and going to like for a good cause. And then you can just help them get results until a point where you feel comfortable like in your knowledge. And then that way you have like built that trust with that person.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yo, I know you've been with me 6 months. We've just been putting your money towards a charity of your choice. You've been getting great results. If you feel like this is something you want to stick with, would you be comfortable with moving this financial investment just towards me? So instead of the charity, and we just continue getting your results. And if they already have the trust with you, they're getting good results, then like no one's going to say no.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think that's the best way to do it until you feel like you have the knowledge to actually take on someone's health, because that's really what it is you're taking responsibility for someone else's health.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just kind of like, oh, no big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they're paying me money. I'm making money.
Especially when it comes to PEDs.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if you're running someone a PED cycle but not monitoring their blood work, like, bro, you need to quit.
Yeah.
Or you need to find like a better mentor ASAP.
Yep. That's a huge one. What are some, yeah, well, I was going to ask you, we can kind of go into this a little bit, but what do you think are some like big red flags when it comes to coaches? Or gurus, or yeah.
If they can't explain why they're programming what they're programming in like depth.
In depth, yeah.
That's a big one. Also, coaches that aren't present and showing up daily with passion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if your coach is not responding to your check-ins within minimum 24 hours,
Yeah.
you need a different coach.
Yep.
That's so crucial. I hear about coaches that take like weeks to respond to check-ins.
No way. What?
That is fucking absurd.
Bro, that doesn't make any sense at all.
That is not giving a shit about your athlete and taking advantage of them and their money.
That's dumb.
Sometimes from people you wouldn't expect it from either.
Really?
Which is kind of surprising. But
Yeah.
yeah, if your coach isn't getting back to you in 24 hours, they've got other priorities.
Yeah.
The one exception I could see is if they just got like a shit ton of clients and maybe like one off, something like slips by them,
Yeah.
then just give them like, another text or something like that.
Yeah. Send another text.
Yeah.
Or if they give like an announcement. Like Nick always gives announcements. So he's like, all right, guys, I'm going to be, I got this event I'm going to, and then we're not doing check-ins this week or something like that.
Yeah, dude, I'm checking in with my people all the fucking time.
So, yeah.
Like multiple times a week if they need to. But I think a really big thing for coaching is look for coaches that actually go the extra mile to learn about you. And you as a human, you know what I mean? So don't look for a coach that isn't maybe necessarily just all he's all about the training, nutrition, etc. But he's also in it to learn about you as a human, because the more I know about my athletes on a personal level, I'm going to be able to coach them better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's super huge too.
So not taking time to get to know you.
Yeah. What about you?
I think you kind of covered the main ones. Because I would say if they don't know what they're talking about, but going in more in depth, if they as a coach haven't done this for themselves or experienced this for themselves,
they don't have the results.
Right. And so it's for example, right, with PEDs, if your coach isn't, on PEDs and he's prescribing you PEDs, or he's never taken PEDs at all.
Sure.
I wouldn't say if he's not on PEDs, because there's coaches out there that are super high level that don't take PEDs anymore.
Same thing with results. If they aren't checked right now, at least have they been checked before?
Exactly. So, yeah, that's an example. If they haven't been on PEDs before ever, and they're trying to get you on a cycle, that's a big red flag. I would say too, if they're, I don't want to throw this under the bus, but there are some coaches where it's they're not showing any of their other athletes maybe on their transformations.
They're not showing athletes?
Yeah. So maybe what I would say is with Nick, right? The reason I kind of picked him as a coach is he's not just showing the same athlete over and over and over again. You know what I mean? He doesn't have his one athlete that's doing good and all the other athletes that are shit, right? Every single one of his athletes is executing at a high level pretty much. And so I think that's kind of more of a smaller red flag for me. I wouldn't just make the decision based on that. But if it's a couple other things plus that, where it's all right, you don't see a lot of other people's results on there, that might be a small red flag. I think it kind of it's also kind of a hard one, because there's a lot of new coaches out there that don't have the results quite yet.
I'll be honest, I don't post everyone on transformations on my feed. I post the people
that are actually working, right?
Because
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna shout you out saying great job with this transformation if you haven't transformed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you got other work we got to work on first.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna shout out the athletes that are putting in the work, actually getting results. But if it's something like where like coaches have athletes that are getting results, but they're not posting them because he only has favorites, like that's different.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to think if there's anything else. PDs. I think that's pretty much about it. I mean, I would try to see like a little bit, maybe like if he's got some sort of.
I've got a good one.
What?
If your coach, it's like your coach's program or your coaching style or implementation
I know
of
what you're
different
saying.
things, if you can tell it's not consistently improving over
Okay.
time,
Yep.
that's a red flag to me. Because that tells me that they're complacent.
Yeah. I would say if you figure out that your coach's programs are cookie cutter.
Cookie cutter too, that's a harder one because you can almost justify anything depending, because every individual's like different. I could see a program and like at a glance I could be like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Why would anyone program that?
Right.
But maybe that person has like indigestion with certain things, or they have like really busy lifestyle, they have different recovery capacity. Like there's so many different variables
Yeah.
that contribute into that. But if it's something that's like you can just tell is like AI generated, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's different. But
Kind of take a glance, like, all right, is this like actually a program you put together for me, or is this the
Just
same
nothing makes
AI?
sense. Yeah.
Exactly. Which I think that's kind of like a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, it's gonna be more common sense.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I try to use AI the least amount possible, but if I ever do it, I'm like upfront with it, like, yo, I made this with AI, just so you know.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that's important. Otherwise, people are gonna like, if they find out something was AI generated, then they're like, so much of your trust is just gonna go out the window.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. That's pretty much it, I would say. For
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good to wrap this up. We've gone for a little good minute, so you pretty much good to wrap this up, or anything last in your mind?
Yeah. That's about pretty much all I have.
Yeah, it's a good ass episode.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Savage Excellence Podcast. If you guys want to make sure you hop into the next episode, this is a fucking fire one.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get this one out. But we'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Dude, that was fire.